Good morning, Chairman Fitzgerald, Ranking Member Nadler, and members of the subcommittee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify at this hearing. The rising cost of college beyond high school in this country is a major concern for many American families. Whether they're looking at an associate's degree in nursing, a vocational certificate to become an HVAC technician, or a 4-year degree in business, Americans looking to get ahead in the job market are facing high tuition bills. And most families are forced to cope by taking on student loan debt that becomes a lifelong burden. I applaud the committee's interest in the cost of higher education. However, the focus of this inquiry is misplaced. Ivy League institutions train less than 0.4% of undergraduate students in this country, whereas the vast majority of students attend public community colleges and open access state colleges. Ivy League admissions and tuition practices have no effect on the schools that most Americans attend. Looking for a solution to college costs in the Ivy League is like looking for a needle in a haystack while the rest of the haystack is on fire. And here's the latest source of that fire. Legislation approved by the House of Representatives pays for tax cuts for the richest Americans by increasing the price of college for low and middle income students, including taking away Pell Grants from 1.4 million Americans and reducing them for another 3 million. The deep cuts to Medicaid and SNAP in that bill will also likely increase public school tuition by squeezing state budgets, as higher education will be at the top of the chopping block to cover state budget shortfalls. Antitrust at elite colleges is deeply inadequate for solving the problem of high prices of college in America. Attempting to leverage antitrust as a global fix to college pricing and admissions while simultaneously slashing federal support for higher education could very well result in less access to college for lower and middle income families, not more. Congress has powerful tools at hand that could really change the price of college and improve the value of the government's investment that are outside of this committee's jurisdiction. For example, the federal government could use its muscular role in higher education finance to the advantage of millions of American families by negotiating the price of college tuition. There's strong bipartisan precedent for this in Medicare, where the federal government assigns payment rates to healthcare services provided to Medicare beneficiaries. And while Ivy League practices don't trickle down to open access schools, the predatory practices of for-profit colleges are definitely trickling up. Community colleges must contend with for-profit schools that siphon off students through aggressive marketing and then leave them with high debt and low earnings potential. As Congress looks to roll back regulation of for-profit colleges, these conditions will only worsen. Lastly, today's focus on Ivy League colleges comes after a string of actions by government leaders aimed at gaining unprecedented levels of control over the minutiae of administration at certain elite colleges. Instead of simply enforcing the law, federal officials are openly looking for any punitive measure that they can apply to bend a handful of wealthy, elite colleges to their will. Federal officials have put forward a variety of diffuse reasons for this obsession with the Ivies, but I think this line of attack, taken as a whole, is most reasonably viewed as an attempt to turn back the clock and restore the role of the Harvards and Yales of the world as finishing schools for the children of wealthy and well-connected, rather than knowledge centers that can freely evaluate and challenge social and political trends. This attack on Ivy League schools has worrisome parallels to the actions of an authoritarian regime, and regardless of our views on elite higher education, it should be of concern because it's a sharp departure from the law and from our norms and democratic values. A strong higher education system is critical to the country's economic strength, to the strength of our democracy, and to creating more broadly shared prosperity. We need to be working together to ensure that we are building a system that meets all of our community's needs. Thank you, and I look forward to your questions.
Gentlewoman yields back.